Good evening, everybody. I'm Alistair, and it's my turn on the rota to give an evening reflection. So this evening, my reflection is going to be on reflections. For the eagle-eyed amongst you who have been watching more of these reflections, you may recall that I have actually already done a reflection on reflections. This one's slightly different and hopefully explains to Andy why I am yet again late in submitting my reflection this evening. A few hours ago, I filmed my reflection on the subject of temptation and cleansing from sins. And in a short 7-minute video, I thought in my mind I'd succinctly kind of put what I've been thinking about recently and then gave it to my wife Sabrina for once to have a look at before I submitted it. I think just niggling at the back of my mind was a couple of doubts maybe just about how what I was expressing might be coming across, whether it kind of opened up more questions than answers. And ultimately, just as the evening wore on, I chose not to send it through to Andy for uploading. And I guess came to the realization that a reflection of 5-6 minutes wasn't the best platform to kind of express the thoughts I'd been having about that subject. You know, it's a big, deep subject, and the points maybe I was trying to make were quite nuanced, and I guess there was kind of a growing worry and fear within it that I guess people watching it maybe might be confused, they might have too many questions about it. So it then got me thinking, right, what should I actually do? I was immediately thinking maybe I'll pass it on to somebody for review, get their thoughts before submitting it, but then I guess ultimately I just felt prompted towards not submitting it. And it then got me thinking about reflections. 2 Timothy 2 has got a big section that kind of deals with false teachers, but I think there's important learning points about what it means for us as Christians to engage in our faith on an ongoing basis. Reading from verse 14, this is 2 Timothy 2 from verse 14, dealing with false teachers. Keep reminding God's people of these things. Warn them before God against quarrelling about words. It is of no value and only ruins those who listen. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. Avoid godless chatter, because those who indulge in it will become more and more ungodly. Their teaching will spread like gangrene. Among them are Hymenaeus and Philetus, who have departed from the truth. They say that the resurrection has already taken place, and they destroy the faith of some. Nevertheless, God's solid foundation stands firm, sealed with this inscription: The Lord knows those who are his, and everyone who confesses the name of the Lord must turn away from wickedness. So, I guess just within that, it got me thinking about how it is we engage with the word. I think these reflections are a wonderful thing to do and a wonderful thing to engage in. But ultimately, sitting listening to somebody like myself for 5 or 6 minutes, it's got overall, in the grand scheme of things, there's other things needing done to engage in the faith. And as it says here, it's not necessarily even that every teacher is going to be false. But what it says is that we need to be rooted in the truth. We ourselves individually and those who teach us need to be rooted in the truth. And ultimately, the only way we can know if somebody who's teaching us, or if our teaching ourselves is rooted in the truth, it's by knowing and growing in knowledge of what that truth is. And that truth is presented to us in black and white form in the Bible. And in the Bible, it says here, straight away, warn them before God against quarrelling about words. It is of no value. And there exactly was my worry about this evening's reflection, that it may result in a quarrelling about words, which was not my intention at all. So as Christians, we're called to engage continually with the Word. Things like daily verse of the day are wonderful, listening to sermons, whether it's at Sunday at DBC or whether it's online, whether it's reading books that have a Christian basis. But ultimately, we need to engage with the Word. These are all different ways of engaging in the Word, and they're all very valuable. But we need to spend time in the Word. We need to be reading the Bible. And when we listen to things like the reflections, when we listen to sermons, engage with them. Engage with them alongside the Bible and what the Bible tells us. So that's pretty much it. For me, I love kind of participating in these reflections. It's hopefully an encouragement to those who listen and that they kind of hear these kind of short things. But my encouragement to you, when you hear any of the reflections, or you read a word of the day, or you listen to a sermon, or you read a book by an earthly author, I realise I might have actually left you hanging a bit as well. I'm actually going to be sending my reflection from earlier this evening to a few people just to kind of seek their insight and advice. So maybe next time it is my rota, I will be sharing with you my reflection on what I was actually thinking about throughout the last few weeks. So yeah, if I can just encourage you to pray about that, and hopefully it kind of facilitates a few good conversations with myself and some others.